Hello YouTube! Welcome back to 6th Gear Auto. My name is Sam, and today I want to share a list of what I think are the best back-to-school cars you can buy. I've listed each car with a pro and a con. Number 10 is the Nissan Versa Sedan. So the pros of the Nissan Versa Sedan. Base price is under $12,000, so you're getting a lot of the car for the money. Even on the base model, you're getting a car with power windows, you're getting a 6-speed transmission, you're going to be getting pretty decent city power. It's got about 104 horsepower, 40 miles per gallon highway, and for a car its size, it actually has a lot of cargo room. However, the cons: it has a cheap interior feel. If you've ever been in the base model of the Versa, it does have a lot of hard plastics. It's not really appealing to the eye. It's also underpowered if you're going on the highway, because as I said, only 104 horsepower from a naturally aspirated inline-4. And to top that off, it has a CVT transmission. Now, to a lot of people, it really won't make much of a difference, especially if you're just city driving, and it really, unless you get down to it, it's just a pretty good transmission unless you want to have fun. Car number 9, the new Chevy Spark. Base of $13,000. So, again, this is a situation you're getting a lot of car for the money. It's not a large car, it's actually only a little larger than a Fiat 500. It has very good city driving dynamics. So Chevy and GM have been working on this car's driving dynamics for a few years in America and a lot more time outside of America. So they've actually managed to get driving in the city with that car into a very well-organized system. It has phone integration, which is always important in this time where everyone is on their phones, Pokemon Go, all the apps that you constantly need to have with you. Cons of the car: it's still a very cheap interior feel. It only gets 38 miles a gallon highway, and you really expect more out of a car that small at that point in time. It's got a short wheelbase, and while that's good in the city, on the highway it makes it much more difficult to use. And if you want to install options, different paint jobs, different trim levels, it gets very expensive very quickly. It can get up to almost $21,000 if you have it fully loaded. Car number 8, the Hyundai Accent hatchback. So the pros of this car: it has a very usable size. It's much more powerful than the other two, coming in at I think around 140 horsepower actually. It has an optional racing shifter. It has a very good look to it. It's not something that screams performance, but it's a very attractive looking little hatchback. The cons though: it is still small. You still have to explain Hyundai got good, because a lot of people still think Hyundai is the cheap, unreliable car company that you get when you have no other options. It also has lower fuel economy than the others. And car number 7, the Ford Fiesta. So it has a lot of bang for the buck value. It has the optional ST model. The cons though: it is very small. And when you have the ST model, you only have 10 cubic feet of cargo in the back. And unless you're going with the turbo 3-cylinder engine, you're not going to be getting as good fuel economy as you could with many of the other cars. Car number 6, the Fiat 500X. Got the optional 4-wheel drive system. It's a turbocharged 160 horsepower engine and good ground clearance, and it has an optional manual. However, it doesn't have a lot of cargo room. It's not the fastest thing, even though it's using the Fiat 500 Abarth engine. And if you do opt for the 9-speed transmission, it shifts a lot more than it should. Car number 5, it is the Toyota Corolla S. Now, the Corolla S is one of the most reliable and safe cars you can buy today. It has an optional manual transmission now in the sport model, and if you're actually speccing it out online, you can get a TRD exhaust and sway bar system to make it actually feel like a mini sports sedan. It is a slow car, it is a Corolla, and a lot of people point out it has a lot of space in between the wheel wells and the tires, and it's just also on top of that, it's regarded as one of the most boring cars on the road. Car number 4, the Subaru WRX. It's got a powerful engine with the turbocharged system. It still has the optional manual if you don't want the CVT transmission. You get name recognition with it, as you know you will with any type of Subaru car, especially a WRX or WRX STI. It's very sporty, and it has pretty good cargo space for a compact car. The cons though, you have to vape, it's not great fuel economy, and they already removed the hatchback model, which would be the best option for the money. Car number 3 is the Mini Cooper Clubman S All-4. The pros of this car: it's all-wheel drive, it's quirky, it's unique, it's sporty, has a manual transmission, and gets pretty decent fuel economy for what it is. However, it's very expensive when it gets down to it. It needs premium gas because these turbo engines need that to function at top quality. And again, as I said, quirky. Some people do not like when inside the car. It is all center-based except for the tachometer, and a lot of people don't like that. Car number 2 is the BMW X1. You have the BMW branding, you have the space of a small SUV, plus the additional M Sport package you can get. It's fun, fuel efficient, and it looks very good. However, the cons: as most people, you will end up having a BMW and you will forget to use your turn signals. Of course, this is a joke. Don't want to make any enemies. It's technically an SUV as well, and it's expensive. If you want the M Sport model and you spec it out, as I've done a few times, it gets to nearly $40,000, and that is way too expensive for a first car or back-to-school college car. And car number 1 is personally one of my favorite cars on the market, the Ford Focus RS. The pros of this car: it's a very fun and sporty car. It has a lot of reliability and branding because you know Ford is going to last a long time. It has a lot of usable space since it is a 5-seater hatchback, and it's new to the market, so it's gonna be different, it's gonna be unique. It comes in colors that a lot of other performance hatchbacks don't, including the incredibly bright blue that it showed up in as a concept. However, the cons of the car: it is expensive. This car also gets to almost $40,000, and it needs a premium fuel system because it is another turbo, and especially with drift mode, as people have seen the video recently, it can get you into trouble really, really easily. And as always, I have one final, a bonus car on this list, and that is the Ferrari FF. Now, why the FF? You get a Ferrari with a V12 and 4-wheel drive, and it's usable. It has a lot of cargo room for what it is. It's technically a 4-seater, and it's able to basically conquer any terrain. However, obviously the cons of this car: it's incredibly expensive, it's very loud, and if you live in a city like I do, not everyone's a fan of loud cars. It takes a lot of gas because it is the V12 engine. On top of that, it is harder to access the back seat of the car because it is only a 2-door, and it's designed basically as a sport hatchback. And that will end this video here. So, if you have any suggestions what other cars should have been on the list, comment them down below. And if you like this video, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!